Just when you think you have heard, read, or watched the worst of things people do to innocent children, and you think you have grew thick skin, another case will happen and literally curl your stomach. A sane mind cannot comprehend the things people do to children, and in this case, it's definitely proof. Evil is finding our children in what we think in the most innocent and protective places a child could be, and being groomed by people we trust. King Hill was a beautiful little boy. This is King's story through the eyes of strangers. Baby King was a healthy, rambunctious 2-year-old that lived with his mother, Amber Hill, but his stepdad had stepped up to help Amber raise Baby King. Baby King was visiting his stepfather, Marvin Reese, about 2 weeks before he reported the King missing. Tiana Parks was a friend of King's stepfather, Marvin Reese, and helped him care for the child at times, a news outlet has reported. Reese told police that he dropped King off at Tiana Parks' home about 2 weeks before he was reported missing. Reese said that Parks told him that she returned King to his mother on July 7th. Everyone that knows her in the gym knows Tiana Parks is a great person and a professional yoga type instructor, but Marvin Reese still was reluctant to trust anyone caring for King, but he needed help with a baby because of his hectic job schedule as a boxing coach. He finally gave in and trusted her. He allowed her to take King to the park and other places from time to time. Eventually, Tiana Parks would take King for longer periods of time. King's stepdad put King in the care of a 24-year-old, Tiana, but never imagined she would hurt the child that he considered like his own flesh and blood. He said if he did not see King in person every day while in her care, he would talk to him through video chat or social media. He cannot remember a specific date, but says the last time he saw Parks and King was at the end of June. He says he brought them food before Parks planned to take King to the park. In the 2 weeks after that, Reese said everything changed. He kept going to her house and calling her phone. He was given excuses like, "I'm not home." He requested some pictures of Baby King from Tiana Parks, but she would not send him any. It had taken 2 years of trust he built with a babysitter before he allowed her to watch King for an extended period of time. And now, to his dismay, King was missing under suspicious circumstances. Tiana Parks finally told the stepdad she had dropped him off at King's mother's house. Reese trusted that this was not the case until King's mom sent him a text message asking how King was. The mother said she was devastated to find out that Reese did not have her child. She didn't know who Tiana Parks was, much less she was taking care of her child. She thought her ex-husband had him. On July 8th, when Reese realized the child was no longer in Tiana Parks' care and she could not produce the child, Reese reported him missing. Philadelphia police launched an extensive investigation in collaboration with the FBI and District Attorney's Office. On July 20th, they announced that they did not find Baby King. They don't know what led to King's death. They don't know the date of his death, and they don't know the location of his death, nor do they know where Miss Parks disposed of his body. But they know, based on the evidence that they have, that he in fact was killed by Miss Parks. Officers arrested Parks after the investigation uncovered cell phone video confirming the child was killed. Tiana now faces multiple charges, including murder and abuse of a corpse in connection with King Hill's death. She is being held without bond. Tiana Parks was interviewed by investigators, and they said everything that she told us was refuted by the evidence that the FBI and the Philadelphia Police Department developed. He said there was no evidence of involvement by anyone else and declined to speak about possible motive. Police said King was deceased before police were even notified that he was even missing. He was last seen alive on July 4th and 5th, according to Captain Jason Smith. While researching King's case, he came across a couple of expletive videos and photos of the babysitter, Tiana Parks. One video in which included little King and how anyone could leave a child with this woman. Not just for an hour, but for weeks at a time. The FBI said King's body may never be found. A family member stated that the FBI said Parks dumped King's body somewhere to be burned. Unfortunately, Reese says he found out about King's death by watching the news. To this day, he says he wishes he could talk to Parks to find out what went wrong, what happened. He says the two had a strictly business relationship and he feels completely betrayed. You would have never seen that coming, he said. Who does something like that to a 2-year-old child? Reese says he still has not stopped looking or giving up hope. Parks is 24 years old, is currently charged with murder, child endangerment, custodial interference, abuse of a corpse, evidence tampering, and lying to authorities. It's been stated she has hired a very expensive lawyer to handle her case. Rumors are this is not the first time this babysitter has tried to do this, but the parents stopped the interaction between their child and Parks before it got too far. Some family believes baby King is still alive and this all was a hoax. They think someone is keeping King hidden somewhere and is planning to raise him under an alias name. Is this something to consider? Of course. If it was my child, I would not give up until him or his body was given back to me. We are living in self-righteous times, people. Many people don't care about the helpless and defenseless children's disappearances or deaths. Our children have become expendable. It's all-time high in pedophile being socially acceptable by certain social media platforms. We have got to stand up for our children and stop trusting people to do right by them. King Hill is a beautiful 2-year-old little boy that's approximately 3 feet tall, weighing approximately 32 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. His mother last seen him in early June when she dropped him off at his stepfather's house in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was last seen with Tiana Parks. If you have seen King Hill with or without Tiana Parks, please call 215-685-3251 or 911. For updates on King's case and many more like his, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our Facebook page and group. Remember, some sort of truth remains in a lie.